Welcome to the No Limiter Podcast, where we interview top business owners, entrepreneurs, and creators in every industry to help you set record-breaking months. Here's your host of the No Limiter Podcast, Regina Eileen Woodard.
You are listening to the No Limiter Podcast. I am Regina Eileen Woodard, your host of the No Limiter Podcast. Today, we're going to be joined by this lovely young lady who I met actually through TikTok, right? I met her even before I got a chance to really meet her in person. Tianna Mick is one of the youngest females in the industry that will one day be a dealer, an automobile dealer. She is known global. Global means in the United States. It means Africa. It means Germany. She is known because why? Because we have the internet. We have social media. She has the #1 video on TikTok. She generated 2.5 million in views. Now you're probably saying, who has obtained 2.5 million in views on TikTok? Well, not me, not you. And if you're watching this podcast, you need to take some notes doing this podcast, because you know what? I've been studying her. I've been watching her. But let me just give her accolades right now. T Money. Well, not T Money. T got your keys. But T is an NADA 2022 speaker. She was Internet Sales Group speaker, published in Digital Dealer Magazine, November 2020. She was awarded the #1 Influential Female Car Salesperson in 2019. So let's give her a round of applause for that. Yes. And she's also an expert on showroom sales. She was asked by General Motors. Now, you're probably saying, what's General Motors? Now, you guys know what General Motors is. I'm not talking about the car. I'm not talking about that little symbol that you think that it's not the car company. It is the car company, because I work at a General Motors store. T Got Your Keys was asked to speak at the General Motors panel to speak on the importance of diversity of LGBTQ community, realities and economics, and the importance in the automobile industry. And I probably got tongue-tied when I said that, right? We're going to go ahead and get started with this interview. Tongue-tied because you know what? This is the youngest person that I've ever interviewed. Someone that's 22, but started in this business at 19 years old. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show, Tianna. How you doing today?
Thank you, Regina. Yes, I'm super excited just for the opportunity. And like we mentioned before, I'm just super excited to finally come back from everything, relax, and, just spill the beans on everything I have going on.
Spill the beans. So we're going to spill the beans today, right? We're spilling the beans?
Yes.
I want to go back to, because I was reading your bio, and you said at 8 years old, you had the opportunity to become poor and to become rich. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my parents obviously had me when they were 7 years into the relationship, and then unfortunately split. So Sean V. Bradley is actually my stepfather, not my actual biological father. My biological father is still in my life. So when I lived with him, we lived in, and I'm actually there now, in Reading, Pennsylvania. Reading, Pennsylvania was actually, I believe, when I was about 14 and to 18, it was rated one of the worst and most poorest cities in the world at the time, just because of how bad it really was. It was almost third world country bad. And that's kind of the environment that I grew up in, right? And I kind of felt like Annie at a time, just because then all of a sudden there's this big, guy that's like, I'm gonna take you and your mom, and you're gonna have this good, amazing, awesome life. And I never had that before. That's kind of how I perceived, I got both sides of the track. So when I grew up until 8 years old, I didn't know kind of what going to the movies was. We had VHS tapes when everybody was on DVD players at the time. So as when my mother decided to get married to my stepfather, my life definitely changed, and it put me in a much better place and situation to get me where I am now.
I know at 18, you decided to go to college, but that's not what you're doing now. So I get it. You grew up poor. Now you live in a different life where you rich, but you don't act like you're rich. But let me just say this: going to college. Why did you think the college was the best for you? Why did you think that you wanted to actually get an education and you did not finish?
So it goes back to having like that. I don't want to say third parent because my biological dad should be my second parent, but it goes back to like that mentality of, okay, go to school, work for somebody, and then that's it. It wasn't the mentality of go to school and be your own boss, right? So unfortunately, especially in this system that I was grown up in, it was just work, work, work. If you don't get a degree, you're just going to have, a minimum wage paying job. You're not going to have a good life. So I was instilled, to work for someone, not work for myself. My stepdad and my parents taught me, and my mother taught me, you can be your own boss. But unfortunately, when you're, in the city and deep in poverty, you just think, who can I work for so I can make money to get myself out of this? Not how can I make myself my boss? So I went to college and, I just one day was sitting there and I was calculating the books, the tuition, and just adding it all up. And then at the end, the debt. And I was thinking, even if I get a job, right, that's $80,000 to $100,000 a year, how much of that am I paying towards student loans? So really, I'm only making what, $50,000 maybe to $60,000 a year. So I was just doing the math. It didn't add up. And when I saw so many people in the automotive industry just selling cars, with degrees, still paying off their student loans, I was like, I can do that and not have student loans. Because honestly, I was just standing in a room with people that had degrees and had college debt, but they were sitting right next to me. It honestly, unfortunately, didn't give them the upper hand anymore. And I think that's what this generation and this world is turning into, is that you don't necessarily need a college degree to get anywhere or to be something anymore.
Well, you know what? You are inspiration, because I remember, I went to college. I have an associate's degree and a bachelor's. But I said, when I first got in the car business 24 years ago, I said, if I would have known what I knew back then, that college, I can make the same amount, make more money in the car business than I would have been using my degree, I would not have gone to college, and so I commend you because you took that step. You said, you know what, I wanted to get an education. That's what I was taught. But, I got a dose of a different part of life, the entrepreneurship of having my own business, with Sean V. Bradley, the multimillionaire, the man of the universe, I want to say, of the United States, the man, right? For you to be able to get exposed to this type of lifestyle and to be able to share it with the world. Because again, I went to college, and if I'd have known what I know now, I wouldn't have wasted the time. I've done that. So, but how did it feel being at 19 years old, making between $9,000 and $11,000 a month?
It was kind of surreal. I was like just in utter shock, just because, like you said, I went from college and trying to, work full time at a minimum wage job. I was working at Burger King, and then I was working at Panera Bread. So I was just always in the fast food, because I always had to be on my feet, moving, talking to people. And that's kind of like what the industry is, right? You're on your feet, you're talking to people, you're just getting things done. It's fast paced. So I just kind of always just flourish in that kind of environment. So once I got the money behind it, it was like, wow, this is kind of crazy, super rewarding, just because it's really scary. Even now to this day, we don't know where the automotive industry is going, and things like that. And knock on wood, I'm on a wooden desk right now, so knock on wood, but I don't necessarily have anything to kind of fall back on if all of our businesses kind of go under. I don't have a degree, I don't have any kind of certificate, whether that, based on a job merit, I have speaker certificates and things like that, but I don't have the bachelor's degree and things like that, which I still do eventually want to get, just because it is kind of scary, right, to kind of go through life and just to not have that, fallback plan. So, but once I saw how much money I was making, I kind of was like, okay, this is my fallback plan. I'm just going to save up and start investing. So when my dad, like my biological dad, saw I was getting all this money, and he was like, save it, save it, save it. But on the other side of the tracks, right, my mom and my stepdad were saying, like, invest it, invest it, invest it, which to me in my systematic mind was like, that's me spending it on air, right? I'm not getting anything out of it. So once I started getting checks that were like, biweekly checks of like $5,000 to $6,000, totaling up to like 10 to 12 a month, I just was thinking, how can I divvy this up and make it work for me even longer? Because anybody can just save money, but what are you going to put it into to just make it consistently make money for you? So, like I said, if I, God forbid, something does happen, I still have other money on the side, working for me, whether that be in, just regular stocks, or in like public trades and things like that. So I'm still even trying to learn like about this like cryptocurrency and stuff. I'm so behind on all of this, but once you start getting money like that, my suggestion is to, like I said, just start investing, because if it's sitting in savings, it's not necessarily doing anything.
What would you tell someone that's 18, 19 years old who wants to get into the automobile business? That's a woman, but not necessarily a woman. They could be a man. It doesn't matter what sex they are. What advice would you give them? They have no experience, but they're working at Burger King, they're working at McDonald's, or they're just not happy right now. They don't know how to get into the business. What advice would you give them?
I would say, unless you're going to get into it and give it your all, like your heart, your love and soul, then don't do it. Because unfortunately, a lot of people get burnt out easily in the industry. It's long hours. It's, a lot of not, so nice people. You're always told no sometimes. So it's a lot of negativity. You have to kind of be positive. And if you're the type of person that only thrives off of other people's positivity, that it might not necessarily be the place for you. But if you're the type of person that is like headstrong, you don't care about anybody else's mission except yours, and you're really ready to go into the store and just dominate what you want to do and what you want to have, then I would say this is the best industry that you can get into, because not only can you make as much money as you can earn just by basically your skill set, you can, once you're a superstar, kind of like Cody Carter and Chrissy Burton, right, the #1 car saleswoman and men of the world, they make their own schedules. So they don't work on the weekends. They come in whenever they want. It's so rewarding. So if you're thinking about getting into this industry, I would say there's a lot of negativity in this industry when other people see you trying harder or see you trying to get yourself better, because it's like a bucket and the crab mentality. So it's like fishermen, they can just put like a bunch of crabs in a bucket and they won't go out, because all the other crabs will see a crab escaping and pull him right down. So everybody in the group isn't trying to link up and, get out of the bucket. They just have that crab mentality of, oh, you're trying hard, I'm pulling you down. Oh, you want to make a video, I'm just going to laugh at you and say, you should be embarrassed and this and that. But like I said, if you're getting in the industry and you're a headstrong person and you want to be an entrepreneur, and that you don't care about anybody else's opinion, you're going to wake up every day and just do all that you can be and be everybody's role model. Because that's what I try to do, is like you said, is just try to be the role model for the desk next to me. There's so many people discouraged in our industry because unfortunately, when you try too hard, quote unquote, it's like you get made fun of, which it shouldn't be that way in this industry. In any other job, when you try hard, you get rewarded. But unfortunately here, when your peers see you doing better, they might bag on you. They might try to drag you down. So just go into it headstrong with your own positivity, because you're going to need to bring your own positivity sometimes to the dealership, and just really try to dominate and be all you can be all.
So what brings you joy? How do you get all your, you're talking, being positive, looking out for the person next to you or bringing in positive, but what brings you joy? What makes you happy? I'm in the automobile business and I've never seen anyone like you, so how do you, what's your joy, right? What makes you happy?
So what makes me happy is there can be many things, but the two main things, one is like money, right? Money. And then the second thing would just be like being able to provide for someone. For me, that is self-fulfilling and, as me as a person. So whether that be helping them get into a vehicle, whether that be helping them with knowledge about a vehicle, or whether that be just me being able to provide for my family because I do work and then I go home and, you know, I get to buy them dinner or something like that. So what brings me most joy is I kind of like being like a teacher, is like seeing, you know, that student being like, okay, I can do this, like I can do that video, I can really do this, and then seeing them do it, and then seeing, like, it's like when you give someone a gift and then you're happier seeing them open it. It's like I see them open a gift of, oh my gosh, I can do this, this does work. Because there's people that I like, my cousin that I talk to, and I'm like, hey, shoot some videos, post them on Facebook. You're not going to get a lot of views at first, but just be consistent. You're going to get a following. And now, you know, his videos went from like 2 to 3 views. Now they're up to like 50, 60 views a video. So it's eventually going to get there. So just seeing people, for me, just realize the potential that they have, that brings me joy. So even if you are my coworker, right, and it necessarily might take customers away from me because I'm giving you some tips and advice, but it's self-fulfilling because I'm like, I'm teaching you something, right? So to me, that's just my joy, and that's what I get out of it. So when I teach people tips and things like that, and they just say, oh my gosh, I can do this and it worked, that just made me happier because at least you sold maybe one car from me, right? And that just makes me a little happier.
Are you in the market for a new or used car? Whether you're in the Metro Detroit area or anywhere in the U.S., call or text me at 248-301-0461. And I go to work on getting you the best deal possible. That's right, we're delivered anywhere in the U.S. Call or text me at 248-301-0461. So coming back right now to where you are right now is you're not selling cars anymore. You're working for Dealer Synergy, correct?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What is your day? What is your day-to-day life at Dealer Synergy?
In Dealer Synergy. So it's kind of like sales, but it's not, I'm not dealing with this inventory shortage, right? So I basically sell, I don't know if it's good or bad because we have not increased our prices, but we are still selling normally. And usually a day in the day of my life is talking to dealers and, like we mentioned before, trying to give them that gift of like that realization, like opening their eyes of, oh my gosh, yeah, my people do need training. Oh my gosh, yeah, my people should be using video. Or, oh my gosh, my people need to be branding themselves or we're going to be extinct. So my day to day is just calling up people. I do a lot of video, like I practice what I preach. I do a lot of videos. So
what does that look like? So I do a lot of videos. Give me some advice on, now this is a serious question. This is from the heart, right?
Yeah.
So TikTok, right? I do a lot of videos on TikTok, but I'm teaching, I'm talking, right? And I just come across, so I'm trying to get it where I can like loosen up, you know, have some fun, you know, like I'm doing with you, loosen up. Help, give me an example of a video that I can do where I can loosen up. Yeah,
absolutely. So my number one thing would be to just get familiar with your TikTok audience, just because, so whatever's on my page, like kind of like your feed, isn't necessarily going to be whatever's on your feed. So you kind of want to feed off of whatever's already there. So if you constantly find this one sound, like there was this one sound that was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Yeah. Right? So that was super popular.
Wait for it, right? No, okay.
Exactly. So you could be like, I actually learned a couple of things when I went to NADA. There's like 4 key like factors that you need to be doing is like engaging, educating, empowering. There's another E word. I forget what it is, right? But I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I was doing that. So one of the things you can do is like entertain, right? That's like a funny sound. So like, oh no, like that's a funny sound, right? Okay. Then you want to entertain. So that's entertaining, but then you want to be informational or educational, right? So maybe it can be like when you pull up to the dealership and you don't have all of your like bank slips, like you don't have your pay stub, you don't have your like ID, you don't have this, and it's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. And then in the comment, it's like, when you're going to come see me, make sure you contact me to make sure you have all of your paperwork that you need before coming in. Different things like that. Like the last video that I just made, for example, just to talk about TikTok, has 39.7 thousand views, which I know I was shocked that it got. I was shocked that it got that much. And it was me basically being like, oh no. So that's why I was like in my head. And I was basically just telling customers, like, don't look at Kelley Blue Book retail, look at Kelley Blue Book trade-in, because that saves us more time, right? And then that's just educating the customer, educating them on what Kelley Blue Book trade-in is versus what Kelley Blue Book retail is. And if you guys don't know, just go to my TikTok. T got your keys. You can watch the TikTok video. You can find out, what is that? What's she talking about? You'll find out.
I saw that video. And I was like, that is brilliant. So yes, you know what? You have helped me. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this recording probably about 20 times. And I have to watch it over and over and over and over.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's what it takes. I listen to these sounds like 60 times before I can think of like a video to come up with. Like sometimes people think like, oh my gosh, how do you just like do it sometimes? And I'm like, the one video that you see that's completely done, right? It might take like 80 times of me doing it. You just see the one perfect one, right? So it's okay if you mess up. It's all right. Just keep going.
Yeah, it's funny. You know what? It's I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because when I do my videos, sometimes I got to go back 4, 5, 6, and I'm like, have I done this video 20 times? Have I done this video 15 times? Or did I do this? I'm thinking in my head, I'm the only person doing it so many times. So you've helped me know that I'm not the only person trying to get it right, just trying to look at different things. I still want to talk about your day-to-day operations of what you do now.
Yeah. Going back to the videos, right? Was so in the morning, and kind of like if anybody in automotive, especially, you should be listening, is to list out like your customers of the day and shoot a quick 10 to 30 second video. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, like pick up your phone. You don't have to have anything, crazy apps or anything like that. I know like there's certain ones that I personally use. Bomb. They're super cool. You can use your standard cell phone. So all you have to do is pick up your phone, make a, like I said, 15 to 30 second video just saying, hey, it's your name here, super excited about our appointment. And that's it. Just because 9 times out of 10, not anybody, like nobody else is doing that. So you're just one step ahead of making yourself different and differentiating yourself. So what I do is I list out all of the dealers, right, that I want to contact, all the clients, and I shoot videos for them just because I want to practice what I preach. How am I going to tell these dealers, your people need to be shooting videos, but I'm following up with them using no video, and I'm following up with them in email, and I'm following up with them in, a less than 3% open rate. And it doesn't make sense. So like I said, in my standard day-to-day operations, first in the morning, I make my videos, I send them out. Then I give them a call later on, because then I have something to talk about, right? Hey, did you get my video? Did you get to see it? Are you ready for our appointment? And then it kind of just flows into, like car sales, appointment, sale. And then it's honestly like car sales. Then the next day, all over again, you have 0 sales and it's time to get them back on the board. So you're just making your calls and you're grinding it out. So I think automotive definitely prepped me for dealer synergy, because instead of selling, vehicles, I'm just selling products, right? And not even products more, it's more like the importance of like training and educating people. So unfortunately, I have to sell dealers on the importance of education sometimes, but a lot of them are really jumping on the bandwagon and saying, yeah, we do need help with video. What do you have? So it's definitely this inventory shortage. Like I said, it's helping in a way of, people opening their eyes, but it's not helping us make, more money, because we're not profiting like these used cars are. So.
But you're practicing what you preach, because you can tell people to do videos. You're telling them on the sales side, but you're also telling with the dealers, because you can tell them what they can do by having a conversation with them. But doing a video and sending that to them and then following up is bomb. Because you know what? I'm about to do a video right now. Hold on, wait for it.
Let's do it.
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know what? See, it's not working out like I wanted to do, but we're gonna make it. Right now, I am interviewing T Got Your Keys. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans Credit, is interviewing T Got Your Keys. T Got Your Keys. Yes, she has your keys. #1 video went viral, 2.5 million views. Super excited. She's on my podcast. Coming soon. You can't wait. I can't wait either. Okay. Now I'm back.
How easy was that? Super easy, right?
Because you know what? I didn't think about it. Because usually when I do my videos, I think about it. So if I don't think about it and I get excited, then that's going to be the difference. You know, and I believe now, been in this business for 24 years in automobile business, seeing you are the future, because back 24 years ago, we weren't doing videos. We weren't even, what was social media? I think Facebook was came around maybe 99, 2000, or maybe even 98. I can't even remember, but it wasn't like, and TikTok wasn't even available. Snapchat, is it Snapchat? Snapchat wasn't available.
Yeah.
So none of those things were available at that time, but to be available now, because next level is social media. Next level is just having a plan. Next level is being to pull up your plan for the day, doing a video, sending it to your customer, sending it to your car customer. And honestly, the things that you're sharing right now in this video doesn't necessarily have to be just in car sales. They could do it in their regular business, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, just the way that you said it was, exciting, it was authentic, it was real, your customers are going to pick up on that. It's kind of like actors, they have to do take after take after take, because it's like you see like the smile, but the sound is like, oh, like it's not real, right? But you picked up the phone, you were like, yo, come check out the podcast. It's exciting, right? That's how I try to do for my videos. I try to act like if they were right here, like I'm talking to my friends, like, oh my God, Regina, yo, you're going to have so much fun in our appointments. Oh my gosh, I have our coffee and your water ready with the lemon on the side, like you mentioned. I'm super excited. And, they're gonna rub off on that, and they're going to be excited to come in.
Why do you think General Motors, you got Ford, you got Chrysler, you got Chrysler, you got GM, you got Mercedes. Why do you think GM chose you? Because I know it's 30% of the car buyers right now are minorities, right? And you talked about another percentage, but why do you think General Motors chose you? What makes you different?
Honestly, I think it helped that I was selling the brand at first, right? I was selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep brand for about 1.5 years or so. And then I moved over for over 2 years, for the I worked for the Patriot Auto Group, right? So I was selling Buicks and GMCs. And I think what was different about me was because like the #1 people are usually selling, not to say, lesser expensive vehicles, but typically lesser expensive vehicles, right? Like Cody Carter is selling Toyotas. And, we have Infinity, I believe he's selling like Hondas. So there's nobody that's really selling, like, I don't even personally know anybody that's selling like Highline cars, like even higher that, I don't even know a Cadillac, and I'm in the GMC, like a #1 Cadillac salesperson. But I think my thing was, I was selling a very tough brand, right? It's Buick GMC. Not a lot of people are walking in asking for a Buick. Not and
right.
The GMCs, nobody says, what I really want? I want that new Buick. Like nobody says that. So It was hard. They're like, I'm comparing you to, even Chevy. I sold those brands, but it was hard to sell the Buick and the GMC. So I think just all of the things that I was doing with the videos and my website, that was tgotyourkeys.com, and I was just social media, frenzying everything that I was doing, that paired with I was actually selling, one of the, not the toughest brands at all, but one of the toughest brands, and killing it. I think that's what kind of made me, a spotlighted to them. But not only that is, not to say anything, but I do kind of check off a lot of business boxes, right? A woman, I'm Hispanic, and I also a part of the LGBT community.
Yes.
So if they could get somebody, and honestly, that's kind of what our generation is moving into, right? More when we already have more women, it's coming into a more minorities becoming the majority, and now the LGBT, pride, everybody's kind of being more open about it, and the companies are trying to hop on and just display that there are superstars, rock stars. It's not just not the same thing, but it's not just older Caucasian men anymore doing this, right? It's other women,
the good old boys
minorities.
Club. The good old boy. I don't mean to catch up. The good old boys
yeah.
club. Good old boys club, right?
And it's still going to take a couple of decades to get them out, but not that we want them out, right? There's a place for everybody. It's just we want equality in all representation, not just a majority in all. So we still need you.
Well, one of the reasons why I know you stick out because it's being diversified, and not being able to talk because, me being in this business for 24 years, people weren't, a lot of people kept things in the closet. They didn't deal with things. They, it's like, okay, well, you feel a certain way about this, or you feel a certain way that, why don't you speak up? Or I was watching your video before we came on, when you were at NADA. Anybody don't know what NAD is? It's not National Automobile Dealer Association. And it's where all the dealers in the United States come together. And actually they have meetings about things they want to do in the future, or things how they're going to, just to make the automobile business better. And I saw the video you had with you and L.A. Williams. And I saw you said it was an example where a guy came in a dealership and he wanted to deal with a woman. And I would have handled it a lot differently. Because I'd have been like, I would have told him, okay, well, let me get you somebody. Back in the day, I would have said, let you get me. But
they asked for a man, right?
Yes, when he asked for a man. And then you dealt with that. But then also when he said, well, ma'am, I want to deal with the man when it comes to the numbers. And what you said, Can you just repeat what you said on that video? Can you tell everyone what you said? Because I was like, where were you 24 years ago? Oh, yes, right. You weren't born. But tell everybody what you said.
Yeah, so when the guy came in, he was like, I don't want to talk to a receptionist. I need to see a salesman about about some numbers and a vehicle, right? And I just was like, no worries, sir. I'll go get the manager, but I guarantee you my numbers will be better because I work for my customers. And I just got up and I went to get him, and he saw that, that girl really cared. Like, I just poo-pooed somebody that was like, okay, actually trying to help me, even though I kind of dismissed her in the beginning. I was kind of rude, and like you said, I just try to brush it off and just be like, okay, no worries. I'm going to do what you do, but, I'm not going to let them walk away with thinking that I don't work for my customers. So I'm going to let you know that I'll get somebody, but I work for my people, just so you know. So then the whole time they're with them, they're like, damn, I wonder what Tianna would do, what she was thinking about working with me, just sets that precedent. So I appreciate you saying that you got that out of my speech.
I know with your day-to-day operations, you talk about, are you still building a brand? Because I know when you T got your keys, right? You built that brand up. Are you still doing a little bit of that in Dealer Synergy day-to-day operations?
Yes. So I try to, if you guys are, still listening, go to my TikTok, like I mentioned earlier, go to my TikTok, T got your keys. I still have it just because, I don't have to have your car keys, right? I can have your keys to success. So I still got your keys.
keys to your success. I love it.
I got them. So I just kind of not rebranded that, but just kept it. T got your keys, and, just started educating people that way. Same, goes to you, with car loans. It could be educating people. It doesn't necessarily have to be selling cars or spinning cars, right? So I do keep up with that just because it is my main, differentiator against any other training company. I practice what I preach. I kind of walk the walk, talk the talk. There's a lot of, training companies that will practice things, but they don't really have anybody as a key leading example of actually doing it in this day, at least. We have a lot of, even, some of, our content is decades behind, but the difference is we're making COVID protocol content. We're making TikTok, content, how to be, viral on TikTok and things like that. So I still have to, practice what I preach and still build my brand, because how is it going to look if I'm not getting, like I mentioned, 40,000 views on the video and I'm trying to teach you about TikTok? I don't look like a professional if I'm not getting those views. So I still got to keep up with that brand, and it still brings me joy. Like you said, some people learn some things, and that brings me joy.
Well, you know what? You're still building your brand because, I look forward to the day when you become a dealer real soon. To me, it wouldn't matter what brand you own because I'm going to be there for you. Number one is because you're not only because you're a woman, just because of your sincerity, your outlook, and you are our future. And at your age, and you're teaching the old veterans, and because what we do is I follow, and I'll let you know I'm following, right? But sometimes people follow, a lot of times people follow or they pay attention, but they don't give the individual their kudos, right? Because right now is you could teach the class or have a course where you're teaching the veterans the things that they need to do to stay right now and not just be old school, to be new school.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm gonna say it again. You need to get with Sean because you guys need to have a course where what you can do to teach the veterans, because
yes.
You're the new now, but you got people like myself and other individuals that are in this business that need to take a look at, am I in today's time? What's different? Because, my marketing coach has taught me a lot of the things that you're saying, the videos, being consistent and doing those things. But a lot of people in this business, when they're older, they don't want to change anything. And I'm a fan. I will always be a fan. But one last question before I let you go, get on with your day. Where do you see yourself in 2 years? Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
First of all, thank you very much for all the kudos and kind words. I definitely appreciate it. And like I said, it's one of my many joys. And to answer your question, I guess in 2 to 3 years, as you mentioned, I want to be the youngest dealer principal in the country. And that would be regardless of gender, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of sexual orientation. That's how I see myself. And not only that, but I want to hire a staff that is diverse. They look like our customers, act like our customers, trusting, loyal people to attract trusting, loyal customers. So I just want to kind of take this automotive industry formula and spin it into a way where it is kind of like you said, new school, right? When dealers get a dealership, I feel like they say, okay, this is how it's always been done. So this is how, and they say, okay, because we made money, right? So let's just do it. But why not look at it and say, this is how it's always been done, but this is how we can do things differently and better. So we can not only make more money, but make our customers happy at the same time. Because it just goes hand in hand. If you have happy customers, they're just going to keep coming to you. If you're a place that's going to just get as much money as you can and then just, ditch them when they go, then that's not the type of business I want to run. I want to run a business, like I said, that's the people are excited to go to work, they're inspired to go to work, and I just want to give them, like most dealers don't, all of the resources and tools they need. So if they need video cameras, I want to buy some video cameras for the dealer. If they need stands for their phones, I want to buy some stands. I want to encourage my people, because I think that also hinders some dealers, some car folk, right, from doing anything, because their dealership might not be equipped with the technology. Their dealership might not even have that mindset. So I want to be, in 2 to 3 years, that dealer principal that is on the news and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Carvana was trying to do this and CarMax is trying to do this and all these dealers trying to do this. And this one dealership finally got it right. And then just, hopefully inspire people, and not for me to just only grow, but inspire other dealers to just change their business and grow like that too.
Well, you know what, you said two key things. You said number one is you said you want to inspire your staff. You want your staff to be able to grow, right? I'm putting it into my own terms, but have your staff, your salespeople to grow. Your staff, well, I'm saying your salespeople because I'm in sales, but your salespeople, your staff to grow, right? Because the salespeople are the one that's going to help you make the money, right? You can be in sales selling cars, or you could be in service advisor because you're still selling, right? Or you could be in the body shop and still selling. So offering that training to them, and also your customers. if you don't have those two things, you don't have a successful dealership. And if you have a dealer owner that's thinking about their sales staff, thinking about how you're going to get them to, to the century right now, right? And then also the customers. Dealers talk a lot about they want their customers and they appreciate things when it comes to, them buying the car, but they don't have a plan on dripping on those customers the whole time. They just don't have that time. They drip emails and all that, which is fine, but they don't have a plan like you're making a plan right now. So I want to say thank you for taking time on your busy schedule. Thank your mom for having you.
Right.
Right. Thank your dad and thank your other dad, Sean V. Bradley, the multi-millionaire, for just lifting you up and taking you to another level in your life. But also, before we go, and I just thought of a question, blended family. You guys are, I'm going to talk about somebody famous because you guys are famous too in the automobile industry, right? So, but Will Smith was married and he remarried, and they always talk about the blended family. The blended family right now is you with your dad, right? You communicate with your dad, right? Having your biological dad, and then having Sean V. Bradley. That's the blended family. So, long last question. I know I was going to get out of here, but the blended family. How do you deal with the blended family? Is that, I don't even know the right question to ask you on that. You know why? Because I was a part of a blended family and I messed that up. It was messed up because I didn't get that type of love from my stepmother when my dad remarried. Blended family. One advice on, you could tell someone, parents remarry, how do you deal with having two dads?
It's definitely different, right? And I think it only encouraged me and even programmed me and trained me even more to handle different personalities, different confrontations, right? Because like, I go to my dad's side, for instance, and maybe it's a little more like, reserved and, calm. But then you go to Sean V. Bradley's house, right? And we're, hanging out where we have EDM music on and we're, it's popping. So I would say to be kind of like a social chameleon, because as sales, whether it's cars or anything, you have to mirror your customer, right? If your customer comes in wanting information, you can't be like, yeah, let's pump up the music. So if I'm hanging out with my one parent or blended family member that is more relaxed, then I'm going to act more, relaxed. And vice versa, because that's honestly where the confrontation is that you're just, not mirroring the other person just for the sake of the, environment to be peaceful, which sometimes isn't right? Like sometimes it's good to put your foot down and be like, no, I'm doing this, I'm saying this, right? But there's a time and place for that. So I'm an adult now, I can say that. But I would say advice for blended families is take this as like a teaching moment and a learning moment, as you're going to meet different people from different ethnicities, different backgrounds, and they're going to think and act differently from you. And this is like more like of a training environment because you're living with them. So now you have to learn how to coexist with somebody that's completely different than you. But then when you go out into the real world and you realize, oh, I can have a conversation with someone that's different than me. I can eat a meal with someone that's different with me than me without causing problems. Then when you go home, you're like, this is easy. This is nothing. Just because there's a lot of, diversity or topics, especially in automotive, that may come up that if you say something, you might not get that sale or you might not get that customer. So being in a blended family teaches you to see other differences, not accept, them changing your mind or anything like that. Just accept that they think differently. Like some customers, you're telling them, hey, don't go into that car. You're not going to like it. This is not, no, I want that car. Okay. Match their energy. Let's go. Let's do this. And let's be all in. And then when they come back to you, oh man, you were right. Be like, come on, dude, let's go. Let's help you out. Just, be that family member that they need. So I would say just be a chameleon, like in sales, like in any environment, be an emotional chameleon, mirror your person that you just basically want to be like, and your life would go super easy.
Well, you know what? Thank you. And I'll talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the No Limiter Podcast with Regina Eileen Woodard. Remember to subscribe and review the No Limiter Podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts and the No Limiter Podcast YouTube channel. Every listen and review helps to get this podcast out to as many no limiters like you as possible.